Yo, welcome to the channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're not. It is shot by Curt. Today's video, the 24-70 RF. Now I done had it almost 2 years. I made a video probably about a year and a half ago. To be honest, nothing's really changed. I still feel the same that I felt in that video, but for those who haven't seen the video or you are new to the channel, I'm just making a quick little update, so this shouldn't actually take that long. The thing that has changed recently is moving away from gas, or what people call the gear acquisition syndrome. I've moved away from that, and I've been more intentional about the things that I put into my toolkit. And there's a lot of purchases that I've made that I've definitely regretted. I don't use them. They don't live in my bag, my toolkit, if you will. They don't live in my camera bag. They don't travel with me. I don't use them on shoots. So there's been a lot of things, but this 24-70 was actually not one of those things. Now, I've had a 24-70 before, the EF Gen 1 version. It was cool when I had it. The autofocus was kind of slow, being that I had a R6, and then, you know, that was like a 12-year-old lens at that time, even older now. But this, you know, it's an R5 that I'm shooting this video with, and then I usually pair it with the C70 as well. And for the most part, they match pretty well in terms of, you know, both being updated tech. I love the 24-70 because of the versatility. I'm a big fan of primes. I usually would shoot, you know, with a 24, I would have a 24, and then I have a 35 and a 50, and I've never really had anything outside of those 3 lenses. But the fact that that's 3 lenses right there that you have to keep into your bag, so you got to make sure that you got a certain size backpack that you can carry the 3 lenses, carry your body. If you're carrying more than one body, then both bodies got to be able to fit, things of that sort. I get to do that with this one lens. So I get my 24, I get my 35, get my 50, and then I get 70. Obviously that comes with a trade-off. It's a heavy lens. To be fair, Canon's primes are actually, I think the 85 and the 50 are actually even heavier than this 24-70. I digress on that. But the convenience, I don't feel like you can beat it, but then it also depends on what you shoot. Now, me personally, I'm shooting a lot of B-roll for different events, or just B-roll capture in general, and a bunch of different things. I might need a wide in one sense, and then I might need to punch in and get something close. It's just a lot of things happening that can't be redone, and I need the versatility. I don't need to be running back to my backpack and switching lenses and all of this stuff and potentially missing shots. So again, I love the convenience, but just take into consideration what you shoot. If you're shooting more controlled things, then primes work. And I think when I first started, a lot more things that I was shooting was more controlled, and I can get away with primes. And I did used to shoot things that were, you know, dynamic, we'll call it. I would shoot things that I needed to get close, get wide, but I would physically have to move and back up. And if you don't mind that, then, you know, go for what you can afford, or go for whatever fits your style, whatever style you're going for. It was sharper and all of that, but the physical moving, or being somewhere where you're at a barrier and you can't move, again, that's where this 24-70, being able to punch into the 70 would come in, and then crop even more depending on if you're shooting in 4K, 8K, 6K, whatever, if you're into all of that. But yeah, that's versatility for me, and why I keep the 24-70 in my tool bag. It's Swiss Army knife at this point for me. Then another thing, I love the fact that this lens is image stabilized. So while the Canon R5 does have IBIS, and the lens is stabilized, so you get pretty great stabilization in terms of shooting handheld. And I have shot quite a bit of things handheld. I used to love shooting on a gimbal. These days I just have gone back to handheld. I love handheld, being able to control whatever I want to do in the moment, whether it be manual focus, the way I want to shoot the shot, if I want to turn or just do different things. I just have control over it, and the stabilization helps when I'm trying to walk and follow somebody, or, you know, do things like that. So love the image I love the fact that it's image stabilized, especially since the Canon C70 actually is not. It doesn't have stabilization in the body, but the lens helps it out. So again, since I'm shooting a lot of handheld, I love having the 24-70. And then while the video is not about the 70-200, even the 70-200 has stabilization. The Canon C70 does not, and those two are usually always paired together, especially when I'm shooting events and I have to capture things from a distance. So between those two lenses, I love just I just love having the stabilization. It helps me out a lot. I mean, I can be stable, but I can get away with different movements more knowing that I have stabilization inside of the lens. Then last but not least, and I kind of touched on it in the first point, but the size and the weight. I mean, it's pretty heavy, but at this point I'm kind of used to it. And it actually helps with the handheld because it gives weight. Like if I was using a super light lens and I make certain movements, it would catch every shake and jitter and whatnot. And then you pair that with the IBIS and then it kind of looks weird and the lens doesn't know how to compensate for the movement. So with my C70, it's usually rigged out. So that has like a bunch of weight to it. In addition to the lens being heavy, so I have V-mount on the back, and I just switched to V-mount, but having a V-mount on the back and then having this heavy lens in the front, and then the camera just kind of balances itself out. Now with the R5, it's still pretty heavy, front heavy especially, but it's still pretty heavy, but at this point I don't mind it. It's all of the convenience things that I talked about. It's worth the trade-off for me. It may not be for you though, so again, take what you do and all of that into consideration when it comes to you know, what you're looking to put into your toolkit, but then also what you're even buying it for. Last but not least, because I almost would have left this out, it just kind of crossed my mind. This lens is 22, 23, somewhere. Just put it this way, $2,500 out the door is probably what you're gonna end up paying for the lens. That's another thing that you need to take into consideration. If you are making money, it'll help you make more money. If you are not making money and you're looking into making money, maybe look into a cheaper option and then work your way up to it. Or if you just got money to spend, knock yourself out. But I didn't really want to spend the money when I spent it, but I'm so glad that I did. I've definitely made several times what I've paid for the lens because of the lens, and I don't regret my purchase. But let me know what y'all favorite go-to lens is in whatever sort of situation that y'all shoot in. Before I get to rambling, y'all like and subscribe for the good vibes.